After a short but spectacular high-speed train ride, we arrived in Shangri-La. The fresh breeze and the Tibetan blue sky welcomed us to this mystical corner of the world. Hi, we're Vera and Lee, and we're on a mission to explore the world through its food. And in this season, we are taking you to explore the Yunnan region in China.
那你平时在家里是说藏语还是说汉语？
我平时在家里，我们这边的方言，每个地方都有每个地方的方言嘛，是不是？语言，知道吗？
那你这里的方言叫什么？
哎呦，这个是香格里拉的方言嘛，藏族有藏族的方言嘛。
Lee booked a beautiful and centrally located hotel with good heating and heated floors, because at this altitude the night gets so cold, and I really don't like cold.
Shangri-La is located in the northwest of Yunnan province, bordering the Sichuan province and the Tibetan Autonomous Region. Technically, it's not inside the current Tibetan Autonomous Region, but the people living here are mainly Tibetan, although due to tourism and the growth of the economy here, a lot of Chinese people from other parts of China came here to live and start their business.
Shangri-La sits over 3,000 meters of sea level, an altitude that can cause difficulties for tourists, especially those arriving by plane from coastal areas. Most hotels are well prepared and usually have oxygen machines available. Luckily, we didn't need them during our stay. Good morning from Shangri-La. So we have read that the best way to go to a monastery and also to see the green lands, it's best to get a scooter, and usually you don't need a Chinese driver's license. So we're gonna get a scooter now and then hopefully make our way to the monastery. Also Lee versucht jetzt hier uns den Scooter klar zu machen. Den schwarzen. Dankeschön. Here in China, most of the scooters are electric, and therefore he put in the battery so that we can... Now go. Parece que está mal porque no suena. Se siente como el juguete. The cold Highland air hit our faces, but we were absolutely thrilled to have a scooter here. We've always loved having our own vehicle when we're traveling. Whether it's our camp in Europe, renting cars, campers, or scooters in other parts of the world, it always gives us a sense of freedom that we just love. It allows us to enjoy the scenery and feel like part of the place without rushing or depending on anyone else. So we have now arrived to the biggest monastery in the Yunnan province, here in Shangri-La, and Lee already is in the queue to get us the tickets, but I'm going to show you around here a bit. So there are lockers here, so this if you want to store your backpack or anything. Thing is, everything is in Chinese, and yes, I think it's only in Chinese. And very digital. It's a pretty long queue already. I think it's going all the way here. So the ticket for the entrance of the monastery is 7 euros more or less.
55 yuan?
55 yuanes. And then you can get a bus that brings you there. That would cost another €2.50 more or less. But we decided to walk. The walk is short, but there was construction going on when we visited, so it wasn't exactly the most scenic stroll. Fortunately, we came across a viewpoint with an incredible view of the monastery. So here in the background now you can see the beautiful monastery. In its top times it hosted about 2,000 monks, and now about 700 monks live here. And it's also known as the Little Potala. After the viewpoint, the rest of the walk was actually quite beautiful, following the path around the lake with the majestic monastery towering above us on the hill. If you ever visit Shangri-La, we highly recommend taking this short walk instead of hopping on the bus.
The original name of Shangri-La was actually Zhongdian, and the town was not really well known, and the name Shangri-La was given for marketing and tourism purposes.
Honestly, we expected way more people here, given that this is one of the most popular destinations for Chinese tourists. But it wasn't too bad, except for the main square in the monastery, which was quite crowded. The rest of the area had a calm and peaceful vibe, at least during the off-season when we visited. Tibetan architecture and decor are truly fascinating, with their grand facades, intricate mural paintings, and brightly colored prayer flags. Despite the growth of tourism, the atmosphere still feels incredibly peaceful. Inside the temples, the sense of tranquility is so deep that for a moment, time seems to stand still. In 2001, the Chinese government renamed the city to attract more tourists, drawing inspiration from the mythical Shangri-La in James Hilton's novel Lost Horizon. The book describes a hidden valley in the Himalayas where people live in harmony and barely age. The idea of discovering a lost paradise captured the imagination of many readers, and the novel became a huge success. Interestingly though, the British author never actually visited Tibet or the Himalayas. What are all of these?
They're prayers, like people write down their wishes, and some wish for health, some wish for wealth, some wish for love. And lots of people, they write down wishes for other people. They wish the best for their family or their friends. It's nice.
The book was so influential that even US President Franklin D. Roosevelt named his presidential retreat in Maryland Shangri-La, now known as Camp David. And it also inspired the naming of an Essex-class aircraft carrier commissioned in 1944. And 6 decades later, this city in China decided to adopt the name, embracing its mystery and beauty.
Apparently the Chinese did it really well, and it worked out.
¿Listo?
Vámonos.
Yuhu. After visiting the monastery, we continued on our little e-scooter to the vast grasslands of the Napa Lake. This is a seasonal wetland and nature reserve. Right now it's pretty dry, so it looks more like a sprawling grassland. Muy bonito aquí, ¿no? The landscapes here feels even more magical. Yaks, horses and donkeys grazing freely, rolling hills and an endless sky. Several Tibetan villages surround the wetland, adding to the serene atmosphere. We parked the scooter and went for a walk, breathing in the fresh air and simply taking in the beauty of the surroundings. On our way back, we grabbed a quick bite because we were absolutely starving. This time we tried a local dish, stir-fried chinke Tibetan barley with yak meat. So delicious. When night falls, Shangri-La takes on a different kind of magic. The sky turns in a deep pink, and the streets are beautifully illuminated. Making the city look like something out of a fairy tale. Street food stalls pop up everywhere, and the air is filled with the scent of spices. Just like in the rest of Yunnan, the fruits here are massive. Look at these grapes, pomegranates and figs. They're huge and perfectly shaped, almost as if the mountain air made them grow without limits.
Thank you.
So here we've got a cup of traditional Tibetan yak butter tea. In Chinese it's called suyo cha. In Tibetan, no idea. Sorry for that. It's basically black tea with yak butter, sometimes a little bit of salt, and for the tourists, a little bit of sugar. The Tibetan woman that sold us the tea told us that the butter is homemade. She made it herself with the wood stick and her own yak's milk. And no sugar inside. Let's try. It's interesting. It's a strong taste. It's nice. This is one of the most typical drinks here in the Tibetan region, both in Tibet and the surrounding regions in Qinghai, Sichuan, and Yunnan, especially on the high mountains. So it's your time to try it.
I think it's gonna be very strong, so let's see. I didn't expect this flavor. It's salty, buttery, and it has like lots of calories. You can feel it instantly. We hiked up the illuminated hill to see the giant golden prayer wheel. Legend has it that if you manage to spin it several times, you'll attract good fortune. I actually did. not the fortune, but spinning the wheel. To wrap up the day, we had a wild mushroom hot pot, a must-try in this region. Like Lijiang, Shangri-La is famous for its variety of wild mushrooms, and its hot pot is one of the best way to enjoy their flavor. Interestingly, in Yunnan, you'll often see ham hanging from the ceilings of restaurants. For a second, we even thought that we were back in Spain grabbing tapas at a local bar. They use a similar air drying and salting technique to preserve the meat, taking advantage of the region's cold mountain climate.
Okay.
The ham adds depth and extra complexity to the broth and mushrooms. Just like in Lijiang, this was a feast of wild mushrooms. In fact, I think this time we got even more and of even better quality. They even gave us a whole fresh truffle. And as always, it was way too much food for just the two of us. Probably enough for 4. But we didn't give up, and we managed to finish it all. Mission accomplished. And when we got back to the hotel, the real owners of the place were waiting for us. The cats. It seems like they're the silent guardians of Shangri-La. So they had 2 adorable kittens, and we spent a lot of time playing with them during our stay at the hotel. In general, Yunnan is very pet-friendly, and you'll see many cats and dogs with loving owners. Shangri-La really surprised us in the best way. Now, we're even more excited to visit Tibet itself and explore other Tibetan regions in Yunnan, Sichuan, and Qinghai. It's a place where tradition meets modernity, spirituality coexists with tourism, and nature and Tibetan culture are still alive. I'm not sure if we found James Hilton's lost paradise, but we definitely found a place worth visiting. Thank you for joining us on this adventure today. We hope to see you in the next one. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us on the mission to explore the world through its food. See you in the next one.